Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. This one's a little bit different. This is sort of like a more personal video. So for me, I consider myself to be an introvert, and I used to be pretty shy actually, and I still have some shy tendencies. I still have some in public situations that I'm not fully comfortable within. I don't think I thrive super well. And so I just wanted to talk about how to be an entrepreneur as an introvert and how to, because I think a lot of people associate entrepreneurship with being super active and being super energetic and stuff. But the reality is that some of the smartest entrepreneurs that I know are actually very quiet and sort of held to themselves and just make smart decisions on their own, And so as well, apologies for the audio if it's not that good. This is a bit of a new setup for me. It's late at night. I'm just staying up pretty late going over Q1, Q2, and just comparing the differences. And just so you know, it's been really neat. Year one in business, I've really been in business seriously for about 3 years. Not all in one niche, not all in e-commerce, not all in photography like I was doing for a long time. It's been all over the place, but I feel like I made my first money on my own 3 years ago. So that's what I say when I mean, I've been in business 3 years. So November, which is my birthday month, the first year I did $1,200. My second year, November, which is my birthday month, I did almost $6,000. This year, if we continue on that rate, this year's November is going to be pretty incredible, and I'm really excited to see how that goes. So just noticing that and just sort of reminiscing on the journey, and one of the things that I've really had to overcome is my fear of people and what they think. And so it's such an interesting topic because I think I've sort of come from a social circle where none of the people in my social circle know what the crap I'm doing. So they see these videos, and I've even got people who make memes of me and stuff, and I just have to laugh because it's it is funny, and it seriously is funny, and I just have to be okay with that because I know that I'm playing the long game in business, and that I'm creating market value for myself in a way that people just aren't. And so it's not just about being this video is not just about how to not be embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. This is what I do, and I love what I do, and every single second of it I love. But at the start of my journey, I was almost scared of people knowing what I do. I was almost I had my social circle, and then I had business, and they weren't the same. But now I've become so confident in what I do because I'm actually making money doing it, that people can say whatever they want, and they can kind of think whatever they want, because I know that this is not for them. I'm not doing this for anybody. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for the people that I love. I'm doing it for my future as a man, and I'm creating something that I can sit on and feel comfortable sitting on top of, And so, with that being said, I want to talk about my journey as an introvert and how I sort of overcame a lot of the struggles that come with a sort of introversion. And let me define introversion before anything else. Introversion doesn't mean being shy. It's not an excuse to be shy. Shyness and introversion are two very different things, and I think I define introversion as the dictionary definition, as a psychological definition, which is you need to be alone in order to recharge. So if I spend too much time around people, if I go to a conference or an event, I frankly my happy place is just being at home, recording content and just working on my business inside of my business, And so that's really where I prefer to be. And so with that being said, I do have that tendency to just isolate, and so sometimes I'll just go 2 weeks without talking to anybody and not realize it, And it's not a sad thing at all. It's just how I function. It's I go to people with the end goal of helping them. I don't just hang out just to hang out, or to help them, or because they want to help me, or transactional almost. And it's not because I don't see the value in relationships. I do, and I especially do recently compared to when I started my journey as an entrepreneur. Which frankly, a lot of people think that when you get into business, you begin to view people as more like numbers. But frankly, it's done the opposite for me, where now I value people in a whole new way, because I know that I am nothing without the people that I have, and plus, relationships are just the most valuable thing that you could have $1 million. Which would you rather have $1 million or 3 or 4 really good friends? I'd rather have 3 or 4 really good friends, right? And so it's a really good trade-off. Which would you rather have? Friends, money? I'd take friends. But so actually mapping out my journey, I don't know, maybe I'll throw up a picture or something. When I actually started, entrepreneurship, I think the biggest leap for me, if you're in a place where you're an introvert and you're trying to start business, you have to learn to love people. And my way of doing so was actually just throwing myself into a business model where I had to love people. So wedding photography is actually really my first business that I ever actually dedicated to. And, you know, I was shooting photos at people's weddings. And so I couldn't, I couldn't shut down in that environment. I had to push through that. And if I didn't push through that, then my client would be unhappy and it would hurt my business, which would hurt my income. And so there was pressure for me to perform in that social environment and to step up and to lead that environment. And, you know, to lead sometimes, you know, bridal parties of over 20 people and pose photos and work under pressure and work under high levels of pressure. So, you know, these aren't low-end weddings either. I was working very, very high-end weddings. Some of the time I was getting paid over $2,500, which in Indiana, which is a very low-grade wedding market, that's a lot. That's a very, very high-end wedding. I know other weddings, you know, some photographers get paid like $8,000, but in Indiana, which is like, you know, the farmers and cornfields, $2,500 is a lot of money to spend on your photographer, and I was paid that at 16 sometimes. And so, you know, that was my reality, is I had to learn how to like push past my desire for alone time. Like I'd spend sometimes a whole 12 hours around people at a wedding. And so that was the first big step. So I challenge you to find that big step. Like, okay, how can I create a business that forces me to be around people, or create an experience in my life that forces me to lead people? And so I found myself really gravitating towards leadership roles as an introvert. So like, I don't go out and just party. I'm not a partier. I've been invited to parties. You know, my friends host parties sometimes. And, you know, I'm not a partier. I have lots of people in my circle that are, and they love it, and they love hanging out. And I don't get it, really, to be honest with you. It's just not something that I thrive within. And so I think I understand the psychological process that goes into, like, enjoying a party. But unless it's with people that I truly, truly love and just want to spend more time with just because of how much I value them, a party just makes no freaking sense to me at all. So, you know, that shows you sort of how I view social interaction, right? And so as an entrepreneur, what I've had to do is like begin to really value relationships in a more transactional nature. Like, what can I do for you? What can you do for me? And it's not so much I'm going to give you value so that I get value in return. It's I'm just going to give you so much freaking value that if you don't give me value back, it's like, what are you doing? You know, it's like we are helping each other, you know? And so those are the types of friends that I make, is like people that I can work with and thrive with. And so some of the closest friends that I have are people that I work with and thrive together with, right? And so as an introvert, I have a very small circle of people that I truly love. And the people that I truly love are the people that I work closely with and that I've helped and that have helped me back. Or that they started helping me, so I started helping them back. You know, that's how I really thrive. And so, you know, with wedding photography being such a big jump from being a shy little introverted kid to, you know, having to take a leadership role, you know, that popped up in plenty of other areas of my life, where now, you know, within my little circle of friends, you know, I'm, you know, one of the leaders, you know, in smaller ways, not in huge ways, but in small ways. Like, I lead a group on Thursday nights and all these sorts of things. And then, you know, in the entrepreneurial community here in Indiana, you know, I'm one of the more successful kids around the area. Not the most successful, but I head up a lot of different activities, and me and a couple friends of mine, you know, we really are, there's eyes on us in our community, you know? And so, you know, with that being said, it puts me in a position of leadership, which I actually thrive within. So if you're an introvert and you're afraid, or not afraid, and you're shy, then you have to break through that by finding a way to force yourself to, otherwise you can't perform, right? And that sounds like a really big jump, but it's how I did it, and it worked really well for me. And now here I am, you know, my main business really is my personal brand and helping people on a one-on-one level, and selling programs and that sort of thing, and running this YouTube channel. Then I have some investments, and then I have an agency that I'm running, and all kinds of different things. Like, it's 1,001 different income streams, you know? And so it all sort of falls back onto my ability to serve people well. And if you are shy and you're an introvert who isn't willing to communicate with people, then you can't figure out how you're supposed to serve them. So you have to break through that, and it's something that I realized pretty quickly on in my journey. And, you know, I'm still a really reserved person, so I'm not super outgoing, but I come off as that way because I think I can connect with people that way, but I don't have to be that way in order to connect with everybody, right? It's just a general consensus. I know that generally the people who hang out around YouTube are people who want to watch someone who's, like, entertaining and energetic, but the reality is that, you know, I don't have to be that way in order to sell. You know, in order to sell, you just have to bring value to people and put a price tag on that value. And so, you know, that sort of sums up my journey. Really, is like, it's kind of a lame video, to be honest with you. It's like, as an introvert, you just kind of have to suck it up and learn to love people and learn to really value them on a level that you didn't really believe was necessary before. And you'll find that by valuing others, they will value you more, and it'll be an incredible exchange, and it'll be one of the most valuable things that you can possibly do at any stage of your journey. Valuing people and valuing their needs before your own is the best thing you can do, not just in your personal life and spiritually and emotionally, but also in business. Because at the end of the day, business is about serving people and helping them. And if you're not helping people, you're not going to make that much money. You'll make some money, but not as much as you would if you actually put your customer before your own needs. So there you go, you guys. That's just a quick video that I wanted to film for you guys, just as I sort of reminisced over the past like 2 years, and I literally saw like $1,000 in November of 2016. It's almost 6 in November, 2017, and who knows what 2018 November is going to look like. It was just like the biggest shift was my ability to relate to people and connect with them. That really was the biggest shift. So I recommend that you find ways to break through that for yourself if you are an introvert, and if you are challenged by that, then dude, just suck it up. Like, you have to love people. You have to learn to love people, and if you don't, then there's a major issue in your ability to succeed. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and if you did, leave a comment down below about any points that you made that you loved hearing and want me to discuss more on, maybe. But it's just a quick video that I want to throw out there just because I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with and have an issue with. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.